busiest corner in the city on game day is Clark and Addison. The Cubs back home after a rough trip. They lost 5 in a row to finish up the trip as they take on the Milwaukee Brewers. It's WGN Sports on the U as we bring you Cubs baseball. Milwaukee has also lost 5 in a row as these two NL Central teams battle. Hi again, everyone. Along with Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. Pretty warm, wind blowing out in overcast skies. Blake DeWitt will make his Cubs Wrigley Field debut, and his Cub debut on the road was pretty good yesterday.
Yeah, really good. Got 3 base hits, including an RBI double in his first at bat. Blake DeWitt is a guy the Cubs have had their eyes on since he was the #1 pick of the Dodgers back in '04, and lo and behold, here he is manning second base, batting 8th again tonight.
A good pitching matchup. Couple of right-handers tonight. Randy Wells coming off a very good month of July. It seems as though he's made some good adjustments.
Yeah, going back to the end of June, he's made some really nice adjustments. He has an ERA under 2 over that stretch of games. Unfortunately, the team is only 2-2 in his starts because they've only scored 13 runs for him in those 6 starts.
For the Brewers, it's all-star right-hander Yovani Gallardo. A little time on the DL, so he did not pitch in the All-Star game, and he's been really good on the road.
Good on the road, but coming off the worst outing of his career. Only went 2 2/3 innings, gave up 10 hits and 6 runs last time out.
So the Cubs are a game and a half behind Milwaukee for 3rd place, but only a half a game up on Houston for 4th. Blake DeWitt will be in the lineup tonight, wearing the home pinstripes for the first time. Brewers and Cubs coming up next. Tonight's game is available on your SAP audio setting, provided by WRTO La Tremenda, Chicago's Spanish language sports leader. Cubs SAP brought to you by Galaxy, home remodeling experts since 1984. Do great work, give a great deal. That's Galaxy. Now, Ken Maka's Brewers lineup, they lead the National League in home runs, but they've been a hit or miss offense all season long, and lately it's been miss more often than not. Weeks, Hart, who just signed a 3-year contract extension. Braun, fielder, the former Cub Casey McGee, another former Cub Jim Edmonds in center. Alcides Escobar, the shortstop. It's Jonathan Lucroy catching for Yovani Gallardo, who has 4 home runs already.
And let's check out how the Cubs take the field defensively behind Randy Wells tonight. Brought to you by Pepsi. Every Pepsi refreshes the world. Soriano, Bird, and Colvin across the outfield once again. Ramirez and Castro on the left side. The newest Cub, Blake DeWitt, coming off a 3-hit game in Colorado, will be at second base. Derek Lee over at first. Giovanni Soto doing the catching for right-hander Randy Wells. See his overall numbers on the season, as Len mentioned in the open to the show. He's been really good in the month of July. ERA of 1.79, but only 2-2 over that stretch because the offense is just not scoring runs for him.
So his first start of August as Ricky Weeks with a home run swing and a miss. He is on pace for 102 RBIs, all out of that leadoff spot. If he gets there, he'll be just the second player ever to have at least 100 RBIs from the leadoff spot. Darren Erstad did it with the Angels, exactly 100 knocked in 10 years ago. Lance Barksdale will call the balls and strikes. Ed Rapuano, the crew chief Tom Hallion, and Ron Culpa around the bases. Wells with an 0-2 to Weeks. It's outside. 6 leadoff homers for Weeks, 19 in his career. So he has tied Tommy Harper, Paul Molitor, and Brady Clark for most leadoff homers in a season as a Brewer with 6. And that's not going to happen tonight as he takes a called third. Time now for our Chrysler game forecast. Somewhat menacing forecast, as we do have just a few droplets of rain that we've seen over the last hour or so, but warm temperatures and a south wind, meaning it's blowing out. Brought to you by Chrysler. For more information on our vehicle lineup, log on to Chrysler.com or stop by your Chicagoland or Northwest Indiana Chrysler dealer today. Corey Hart hopes to celebrate a new contract with a big night. Brewers announced today that they had inked their all-star right fielder to a 3-year deal. So he is locked in through 2013.
Well, according to the Brewers, you got to have Hart. Corey Hart, whose name had been bandied about in trade rumors leading up to the deadline, instead signs a 3-year extension for $26.5 million to man right field for the Brewers for the near future.
I don't know if my name's ever been bandied about. I don't know if that'd be fun or not to be bandied.
It'd be worth trying.
Well, that's deep and off the wall, and it'll be a double for Hart. And he continues his hot extra base hit stretch.
Pitch belt high out over the plate from Randy Wells. He wanted it down around the knees. Obviously would have been a much better pitch down around the knees. Anytime you elevate a ball to a power hitter, especially with the wind blowing out at Wrigley, bad things can happen.
At least they kept him in the yard. He has 20 home runs over his last 65 games. Now the struggling Ryan Braun, whose average has gone down every month this season. He hit .355 in April, .286 in May, .264 in June, and .200 in July. And he drives that one deep to right center. Colvin back on it near the warning track, and he caught it. Throw back to second. Just a little late as it gets past Castro. What a catch by Tyler Colvin. He covered a lot of ground.
I think Tyler Colvin may have been the only player in the ballpark that thought he could get to that drive off the bat of Ryan Braun. It looked like at least a double into the gap, maybe more, but Colvin chases it back at the warning track. I'll tell you, a little more on that throw and gets it to carry all the way to second base. That turns into a double play. DeWitt has to cut it, and by the time they get it back in, Hart is able to retreat to second base. But what a great running catch by Tyler Colvin.
So saved a run and possibly a big Brewer first inning. Prince Fielder high in the air down the line. Soriano's going to have room, and the inning is over. So Hart with the double, Colvin the excellent catch, and Tyler will lead it off when we come back. Every Pepsi refreshes the world if you believe in momentum. Well, the Cubs didn't win last night, but they did get 6 runs over the final 3 innings at Colorado. Mentioned Colvin leading off, and Blake DeWitt making his home debut as a Cub.
Take a quick look at the Brewers defensively. Braun, Edmonds, and the recently re-upped Corey Hart in the outfield. McGee at third, Escobar at short, Ricky Weeks at second base, big Prince Fielder at first. Jonathan Lucroy playing behind the plate tonight for right-hander Giovanni Gallardo. Mostly a 3-pitch mix, fastball, slider, curveball, a very occasional straight changeup. He loves to pound away at that outside corner.
Their opening day starter and an all-star this season was not able to participate because he was on the disabled list with a right oblique strain. And the 1-1 to Colvin bounced in front of home plate. Bob mentioned his rough start against the Reds. Could not get out of the 3rd inning. Gave up 6 runs on 10 hits. And his ERA is 2.77, which is excellent, but it's the highest since May 28th. Big cut and a miss. Fastball was up a little bit. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That outing tied for his shortest of the season. Two on the way, and Colvin was late. A little extra mustard on that heater at 94 from Gallardo. I think that's a good example, Bob, why guys try to vary, at least the smart ones try to vary the speed of their fastball.
The good ones do. Yeah, no question about it. You'll read the advanced scouting reports, and they may say a guy pitches at 91, 92, but he can bump it up to 95 or 96 on certain situations in certain counts to certain hitters.
The guy I always go back to is Starlin Castro. Takes a strike is Hideo Nomo, who would throw 80-81 in the 1st inning, and you'd wonder, what is that pitch? Well, it was his fastball, and by the mid-innings, he could hit the low 90s. He was a very smart pitcher.
Well, we saw Ted Lilly do it this year for the Cubs. There were many games he'd come out in the 1st inning, and his fastball would be sitting at 80-81, but if he needed to reach back and put a little extra on it, he could hump it up to 90 or 91. By
the way, Ted will make his Dodger debut tomorrow night against the San Diego Padres. Ryan Theriot last night hit second and went 0 for 4. And 0-2 to Castro. Bounce to Fielder, who played the short hop. Fielder, like Albert Pujols, plays well off the bag. Well, acting manager Alan Trammell would love to hand the keys back over to Lou Piniella after a win. This is the third consecutive game the former Tiger manager has been at the helm and has had to do all the pre and post game media duties. But the thing about Tram you really love, Bob, is he did not hand off all the pregame drill work to some other coach. He was out here early working with Blake DeWitt and Starlin Castro and the other middle infielders several hours ago.
And one of the strangest things over these last 3 days, including the last couple days in Colorado and then here at Wrigley today, an empty manager's office. It just seemed odd to walk by Lou's office and not see a crowd in there laughing at things Lou was saying before or after a ball game. Very quiet.
1-2 on Derek Lee. Just underway. The Cubs have had a good year against Milwaukee, 6-3 through the first 9. Two and 2 the count. And games decided by 4 or more runs in this season series. The Cubs have gone 5-0. But in the close ones, 1 or 2 run decisions, they've gone just 1-3. It kind of matches their season numbers. Swing and a miss to end the inning. 2 strikeouts for Gallardo, who will miss some bats. 0-0. Underway here in the second. Former Cub Casey McGee. 1 ball, no strikes. Andy Wells likes to work quickly. That one skied into left center. It's Soriano. Let's meet tonight's Walgreens Celebrity Bat Kids. Kate Keneally from Chicago, Michael Novosek from Bloomington, Illinois. For more information on how you can be a Walgreens Celebrity Bat Kid, go to WGNradio.com. Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs, getting an autograph from Hall of Famer Billy Williams. Well, Randy Wells would prefer to coax ground balls. Fortunately, the fly balls, for the most part, have been caught. There's a grounder off the bat of Jim Edmonds. The Witt takes care of the veteran Edmonds. 2 quick outs. And it'll bring up the shortstop, Alcides Escobar. Feel free to email us, LennonBob@Tribune.com, and follow us at Twitter.com/LennonBob. Hope you can make it out to Red Dirt Fest to benefit Children's Memorial Hospital. Randy Wells and Ryan Theriot was going to be involved before he got traded to the Dodgers, but that's coming up this Wednesday evening at Joe's Bar. That's at 940 West Weed Street. Stoney LaRue, Brandon Jenkins, and Randy Rogers will perform. And a live auction coming up, all benefiting a great cause. You can go to joesbar.com or childrensmemorial.org for more information. Wells trying to put away Escobar, and he does. That looked like a changeup that was up, but fortunately Escobar missed it.
GNTV is sponsored in part by the Illinois Lottery Mega Millions. Tuesday's Mega Millions jackpot is $42 million.
First of a 6-game homestand, the Brewers and then the Cincinnati Reds coming in for the weekend. And it's back to the road to San Francisco and St. Louis. Aramis Ramirez got a pinch hit at bat late yesterday, but out of the lineup because of the aggravated left thumb. Aramis went just 3 for 20 on the road trip to cool off after a very hot previous homestand. Called strike. 96 that time from Gallardo. 0-2.
Now, we talked a lot about Andrew Cashner and his time here in the big leagues with the Cubs and the easy gas that he throws, mid to upper 90s. Well, Gallardo is right out of that same mold. It doesn't really look like he's trying to put a lot of effort into it, but the ball just explodes out of his hand.
Buried in the dirt. Jonathan Lucroy catching tonight. His, I guess, platoon partner, you call him, George Kataris, left-handed hitter on the bench. Switch hitting Greg Zahn out for the season due to right shoulder surgery. Teams that have to be very disappointed with where they stand with about 2 months to go. Milwaukee had won 5 in a row, and I think the Brewers were feeling like they had a shot to get back into this thing, but they followed that up with a 5-game losing streak. Milwaukee just got swept in Houston. Off the end of the bat as he pops it into right. Corey Hart drifting in and making the play. Here's Marlon Byrd. 7-game hitting streak. Currently ranks 5th in the National League with a .315 batting average. With 3 home runs and a .444 average against Milwaukee this season. 16 out of 36. The 24-year-old righty with a fastball for a strike. Technically, these guys were all-star teammates, but Gallardo was just there as a spectator.
Well, even though he didn't get an opportunity to participate in the All-Star game, I'm sure he had to sign just as many autographs as the rest of the All-Stars did.
Time now to look at our PNC Cubs achiever, Marlon Byrd, putting together a fantastic first year as a Cub. One of the leaders among National League outfielders. Not too many Cubs have hit for this average among outfielders in a while. PNC Bank proud to be an official sponsor of the Chicago Cubs, and just as proud to support the fans and community who cheer them on. PNC for the achiever in us all. That guy feeling confident with the W shirt on. Now Gallardo on a 2-2 pitch. Back-to-back full counts to start this inning.
Gallardo has had to shake a few times to get to the pitch he wants to throw with Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate. And for me, Gallardo is one of those pitchers that really needs to work in a rhythm. Get the ball back, get on the mound, take a deep breath and go. And do it over and over and over. When he has to shake his head too many times, we've seen him step off the rubber a couple times already in this game. I think it really throws him out of his rhythm.
Late swing by Byrd, but he hangs in there. Still 3-2. Gallardo signed a 5-year extension in April. It'll take him through 2014 with Milwaukee, with a club option for the following season. Second-round pick in 2004. He's been a good one. Ball 4. Byrd takes the walk.
I think that's a reputation base on balls there. Everybody around the league knows that Marlon Byrd doesn't walk often, so they don't like to challenge him with a fastball on those 3-2 counts. That time Gallardo came with the breaking pitch out of the zone. Marlon took it for ball 4.
Here's Alfonso Soriano, who homered yesterday and almost hit another one that would have tied the game in the ninth. Dexter Fowler with a leaping catch that probably is going to send him to the disabled list. Fowler was carted off the field with left hip and rib bruises. And the Rockies off today, don't have to make a decision until tomorrow, but sounds like he's going to miss at least a couple weeks. It ended up being a long sacrifice fly for Soriano. Cubs got within one, but lost the game 8-7. Gallardo really taking his time tonight, especially now with a runner on. Kick in the 1-1, swing and a miss. Carlos Silva got pulled after 4 batters, and it ended up being a very scary situation. Fortunately, it was not life-threatening, but he had an abnormally high heart rate, and the Cubs, being very cautious, have put Carlos on the disabled list. He will undergo cardiac evaluation, so they're going to do a battery of tests to make sure that doesn't happen again. They already had a spot open with Ted Lilly getting traded. So Casey Coleman, 23 years old, and he looks like he's 17, is here and is available to pitch tonight out of the bullpen. Thomas Diamond will make his major league debut in a starting role tomorrow night. Called strike 3 on a good slider. Actually, it might have been his curveball. He throws everything fairly hard.
A bit of a knee buckler to Soriano this time. Expecting something else. A high breaking pitch just below the belt where it was received. Might have been a little up as it crossed the front of home plate, but something to file away for future at bats. Lance Barksdale likes the high breaking pitch.
So if and when Casey Coleman gets into action, he'll be part of the first 3-generation family of major league pitchers in the history of baseball. That's a strike, 0-2.
A lot of breaking pitches from Gallardo. You get a look at Casey Coleman. He's a strike thrower.
Casey Coleman available in the pen tonight. That's high to Soto. 1-2.
Actually came to Wrigley Field a few years ago for the Road to Wrigley game. He did not pitch. He had thrown the night before, but said it was a great experience. I told him wait till tonight when the stands are filled.
Casey's grandfather Joe was a right-handed pitcher for 10 years with the Philadelphia A's, with Baltimore and Detroit, 1948 All-Star. His dad Joe at one time pitched for the Cubs among several other teams and was an All-Star in 1972. So I guess Casey will be an All-Star as well if the trend holds.
Good bloodlines.
Blake DeWitt on deck. See Gallardo, a very open stance as he gets the sign. Really opens his shoulders to get a good look at that runner at first. Called strike 3. That'll end the second. 4 strikeouts in the first 2 innings for Gallardo. 0-0.
Yay or nay?
Okay. Randy Wells and Giovanni Gallardo getting through the first 2 innings without a run allowed. Brewers have had the best chance. Corey Hart with a 1-out double in the first, and then Ryan Braun robbed of extra bases by Tyler Colvin. An excellent running catch. Called strike on Jonathan Lucroy, the catcher. And if he gets on, there is no guarantee Giovanni Gallardo is going to bunt him over. He only has 1 sacrifice on the year. That has nothing to do with his bunting prowess. Gallardo has 4 home runs, by far the most among all major league pitchers. Nobody else has more than 1.
Now you have to pitch this Brewers lineup when Gallardo is pitching like an American League lineup. He can swing that bat. It's not an accident. He's got a nice quick swing. I mean, occasionally you'll see a pitcher put up home run numbers because he swings as hard as he can on every pitch, and occasionally he catches up to one. But Gallardo looks like a hitter in the batter's box.
They have used him as a pinch hitter a couple of times. That's just wide of first, foul. Kind of a weird team to try to analyze in this sense. They have scored the 4th most runs in the National League, but I recall the last time we saw the Brewers, we added up all the big games they've had this year, several against the Pittsburgh Pirates, which kind of skewed the stats a little bit. They got shut out in back-to-back games in Houston, scored just 2 runs in that 3-game series. Lucroy grounds out.
Hey fans, this Saturday is Supercuts Day at Wrigley Field. Game time is 12:05, but be sure to arrive early. The first 40,000 fans, pretty much everybody, will receive a scratch and win card, and every card holder will win a lucky prize, compliments of Supercuts.
Here is Gallardo. Home run swing came up empty. And as a pitcher, he's slugging .632. That's Ruthian-like. And he just got hit. Randy Wells plunks Giovanni Gallardo.
Just above the belt. Not sure what that pitch was. It almost looked like a changeup, but the velocity was too much to be a straight changeup from Randy Wells. Something that just got away from him.
Randy Wolf had to leave the game yesterday in Houston after he took a liner off the wrist, but it appears as though he's going to be all right. Make sure you check out our WGN Baseball blog on WGNTV.com. I have a post on the roster moves today. There's a link to our brand new podcast, game notes from stats, and much more. Check it out at WGNTV.com. Ricky Weeks pops it up. Shallow center. Marlon Byrd's going to get there for the second out.
Well, the home run ball notwithstanding, this Brewers club has some issues. There's no question about it. They've had some pitching problems from time to time this year. Haven't always played sound fundamental defense, but their catchers have had issues throwing out potential base stealers. And in the second half of the season, it seems like they're an all or nothing kind of a ball club. Like you mentioned, Len, pretty much every hitter up and down this lineup trying to go deep. And if you can command the fastball on the outside part of the plate, you can get a lot of easy outs.
They recently had a scoreless streak of 28 consecutive innings. It ended yesterday on a Corey Hart 2-run homer in the 6th. It was their longest such scoreless streak since 1974. I don't even know if Hank Aaron was a Brewer by that point. I think that was later. Or the pre-Aaron Brewer days, 1974. Randy Wells strikes out Corey Hart to end the Brewer third. Cubs coming back on offense. Blake DeWitt will get his first Wrigley at bat as a Cub coming up.
Your official beer of the first inning. Let's check out the crowd through the first inning cam and see who's enjoying the game.
They call me Hal. They call me Stacy. They call me her. They call me Jane. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. They call me White Gal, but I'm a liar. Mary Jo Lisa, always the same. That's not my name. That's not my name.
That's not my name. That's the Ting Tings. Budweiser, it's what we do.
Another one off Pat Hughes' iPod. Appreciate Pat letting us borrow that. As Blake DeWitt went 3 for 4 in his Cub debut, makes his home debut here in this one, hitting 8th again, this time against a right-handed starter. First player to have 3 hits in his Cub debut since Kosuke Fukudome. Went 3 for 3 on opening day 2008 against the Brewers. Hit a game-tying homer of Eric Gagne. Blake out here early, was a third baseman, converted a couple of years ago to second. And Alan Trammell trying to get comfortable with the newest Cub. No BP yesterday, so Trav said, I'm old school. I'm all about pregame preparation, and when you have that opportunity before a night game, you take advantage of it.
And certainly Blake DeWitt has played some games here at Wrigley Field, but when it's your home field, you want to get out there and take a lot of ground balls. See where the hops are, see how much room you have in foul territory, chasing foul pop-ups, just all the things you need to know to use Wrigley Field as a home field advantage.
Allen was lucky. He basically had the same double play partner for his entire career, Lou Whitaker. As DeWitt bounces to Ricky Weeks. And Tram was asked today, how long does it take a double play combo to get comfortable playing with one another? He said, really, it takes about a year. He said, can they play together? Of course, but it does take time to get used to the rhythms and the routines and just kind of knowing where the other guy is going to be without really having to think about it.
And you learn little things like when the shortstop goes to his backhand side, he usually throws to the backside of second base. If it's to his front side, he likes to flip underhanded. He doesn't like to come up over the top. You learn all those little nuances of playing middle infield. And, of course, in the case of Alan Trammell and Lou Whitaker, it became second nature. They knew each other probably as well as any double play combination ever.
1-1 on the pitcher, Randy Wells.
I mean, some second basemen on a double play pivot like the throw around waist high so they can drop down and submarine the ball to first base to get the runner to slide early. Other guys like the ball up around chest high so they can get on top. It just depends. And the more you play together, the more you watch each other, the more you learn about each other, the more natural and instinctive it becomes.
Wells waves at strike 3. That's 5 punch-outs already for Gallardo. Don't miss the action as the Cubs battle the Reds this Sunday. Game time is 1:20, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs light switch cover, compliments of ComEd. Oh, yeah.
You get
pretzel and
get a little
cheese.
more on there. Let's go. Load it up.
See, I kind of like the hot mustard with the big pretzel. Cuts down on the calories, you know.
Like cheese. C-H-E-E-Z.
You need a big beverage when you eat that big pretzel with all the salt. Oh, 1 to Colvin, swing and a miss. Called strike 3. Gallardo really on top of his game early on. He has 6 strikeouts. He's already hit double digits 5 times this season.
They call me Stacy, they call me her, they call me Jane. That's not my name.
Ooh, makes me a little queasy. No score. We're in the 4th. Ryan Braun really thumped one his first time up, but Tyler Colvin made an excellent running catch out on the warning track. Ryan Braun's been an all-star each of the last 3 years. He's been a starter all 3 years, and he has led all major league outfielders in all-star voting each of the last 3 years.
Takes a lot of time to punch all those ballots.
Two and 0. Here's the pitch. Pitcher strike. 2-1. Braun hitting about 100 points better on the road than at home. He's hitting just .219 at Miller Park. Line, and Colvin has to play this one on the bounce. I guess the only way for Braun to get a hit out there is to hit it in front of Tyler Colvin, not to try to hit it over him. Time now to check out today's improvement from Menards. Randy Wells really in a tough stretch mid-year, but he has picked it up over the last month. For all your home improvement needs, shop and save big money at Menards.
And Ryan Braun, the runner at first, a guy you've got to keep an eye on. 13 out of 15 in stolen bases this year.
Fastball strike on Fielder, and Soto heading out to the mound. Is that a cross up or what's? I mean, you throw a first pitch strike and you immediately head out. What's that?
Well, and he called Aramis Ramirez, the third baseman, who's actually playing the shortstop position. I think Gio just wants to make sure that if a ball's put into play to the right side of the field, which is where Fielder normally hits the ball, somebody gets to third base. And we've seen it happen with these exaggerated shifts, and a heads-up base runner at first on a ground ball to the right side. They just make the turn at second and keep running. So maybe Gio just reminding Aramis that, hey, ball hit to the right side, make sure you break for third base immediately.
Fielder, one RBI away from 500 in his career, but how about 24 homers, only 46 RBIs? That means he's knocked in 22 of his teammates.
That would explain the 168 batting average with runners in scoring position.
Ground ball through the shift between Ramirez and Castro. And Randy Wells with a heads-up play. He raced over to third base as Ryan Braun was thinking about that extra bag.
Now somebody has to be there, and where that ball was hit, Ramirez reacted initially to his left. That ball was hit between Ramirez at the shortstop position and the shortstop Castro, who was playing on the second base side of the infield. And there you saw Braun take a peek to his left to see if anybody was going to be covering third base, and Randy Wells at the last instant realized, I need to get over there and cover that bag, and that held Braun at second base.
You know, one of the rare plays you'll see it occasionally as McGee takes it low. I mean, just imagine if Wells had not gotten over to cover. Marlon Byrd throwing the ball to a running Aramis Ramirez, trying to tag a running Ryan Braun. It's like football / baseball. That's not an easy play.
I don't like the chances of that play being made successfully. Unlike Prince Fielder, who has struggled this year with runners in scoring position, Casey McGee has been one of the best for the Brewers. He and Ricky Weeks have done most of the damage.
Byrd still going back, running out of room. It's gone. A 3-run homer for Casey McGee. He had gotten off to a hot start, but had been fairly quiet. 2 homers, 8 RBIs over his last 35 games, but he puts the Brewers on top with a booming 3-run homer to straightaway center.
It looked like a changeup that just strayed right back over the heart of the plate. Casey McGee, to his credit, didn't try to pull it. He just went straight away center field up into the juniper bushes.
So for Milwaukee, their league leading 134th home run, number 15 for McGee. Jim Edmonds, lately dealing with right Achilles tendonitis, got back into the lineup Sunday after being limited to pinch hit duty. And he lines out into right center for a base hit. It's kind of a leisurely stroll down the first base line for Jim Edmonds.
You mentioned that sore right Achilles. I'm sure that inhibits his running a little bit, although at this stage of his career I don't think Jim Edmonds is going to flash his speed on anybody.
Well, he'll always give you a good at bat. We saw that here in 2008 as a Cub. Base hit, Alcides Escobar, and that's 5 consecutive hits, and it's going to bring Larry Rothschild out to the mound. I mentioned the bullpen situation. Casey Coleman is available tonight if Randy Wells doesn't give the Cubs many innings. Carlos Silva got pulled after getting just 1 out yesterday, and the Cubs would like to stay away from up to 3 guys who were very busy over the weekend in Colorado. So we just hope Randy can get it together here soon.
Well, the Brewers in this inning, as they've done throughout this ball game, really getting after Randy Wells early in the count, swinging at the first or second pitch. To mix up that first pitch, although he has thrown some sliders on first pitch. But when he comes into that zone, he's been hit pretty hard this inning.
2 singles and a 3-run homer, followed by back-to-back hits. And the pitch to Lucroy is a fastball for a strike. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Five other National League games tonight, including the Reds leading at Pittsburgh 3-0 in the top of the 6th. Travis Wood will pitch here at Wrigley Field this coming weekend. 5 innings, no runs. Rookie lefty's been really good. The Braves lead the Mets in a big National League East series down in Atlanta. It's 3-1 Braves in the bottom of the 5th inning. Atlanta just finished up a 3-6 road trip. Santana and Hudson on the mound in that one. Cold foul. Jake Westbrook making his Cardinal debut tonight against Brett Myers. It's 1-0 at St. Louis. A couple of early errors by the Astros. Base hit. Another one. That's 6 in a row. Well, the Cubs gave up a major league record 11 consecutive hits with 2 outs in the 8th. And in Colorado the other night, Randy Wells to start this 4th inning has allowed 6 straight hits without getting an out. And we will see some action in the bullpen. And again, Gallardo's not a pushover as he waves at strike 1.
And with that in mind, Randy Wells started with a breaking ball. Got the swing and a miss as Justin Berg begins to throw down that left field bullpen. Cubs being out hit 7-0.
So I guess in that sense they're fortunate to be down only 3, but Randy Wells needs an out. And he gets one. Called strike 3 to get Gallardo. That'll bring up the dangerous Ricky Weeks, who has really put it all together this season. I don't think there's any secret, Bob, why Ricky Weeks has put it together this year and hadn't been able to really put it together previously. He's healthy. DL time every year over the last 4 years.
Weeks taking a sweet time to get into that batter's box. He's trying to let his pitcher get back to the dugout and sit down and cool off a little bit. But the other side effect of that is it's giving Justin Berg an opportunity to throw some more warm-up pitches down in that bullpen should Randy Wells continue to struggle here.
Low for ball 1. Bunch of singles after the homer. Edmonds, Escobar, and Lucroy. Gallardo caught looking on strikes, and now Ricky Weeks ahead of the count 2-0. Weeks has already set a club record for homers, 22 by a second baseman. He had the old record along with Don Money, 16. Out into the gap, and it's going to get all the way to the wall. 2 are in, and Lucroy will be held at third. Ricky Weeks smoked that one. RBIs 68 and 69, and it's 5-0.
That's one of the hardest hit balls we've seen in a long time. The ball was just a little bit to the left of Starlin Castro. That's a position where normally Marlon Byrd can get over there and cut the ball off, but it whistled into that gap in left center field. And Marlon was even shading a few steps over toward that gap. It still got by him all the way to the vines.
Boy, the 2 balls in this inning, Fielder and Weeks. About as hard as you can hit a baseball, even though they weren't fly balls. Cornermen are in halfway up the middle as Corey Hart swings and misses. I mean, Ramirez and Castro, Bob, were right there, and Fielder still hit it right through them. Bounced foul. Hart's the 9th batter this inning.
You see Corey Hart carrying his hands a little bit lower this year. And the general consensus is when you see a guy who carries his hands down there around belt level, maybe a little bit above, you try to rush him upstairs. Hard stuff up above his hands. I watched Corey Hart take batting practice today, and he was hitting some of the most vicious top spin line drives. Balls that would get over the head of the infielders and then quickly dive to the ground. He comes up empty on that changeup.
And 2 down in the inning, and the guy who started it with a base hit is coming up, Ryan Braun. Already a tall order for an inconsistent offense against the opposing team's ace, who has struck out 6 through 3 innings and is not allowed a hit. So this is an important batter for Randy Wells, already trailing 5-0. McGee with a 3-run homer and Weeks with a 2-run double. Inside 2-0.
Tell you one thing about the Brewers, they are a very deliberate bunch on offense. They take their sweet time getting in and out of that batter's box. Gotta fix the gloves now. Watch the pitch go by. Those gloves probably got all whacked up. I guess the velocity of the pitch going by loosened the strap a little bit.
Right. Big swing as Braun kind of slipped in the batter's box and bounced it foul.
Yeah, Braun has his own version of a little mini chicken dance. If you watch him in his preparation, and he does the same thing before every pitch. You know, tighten the bands on the batting gloves. Take that practice swing where he finishes real high with his follow through. Right there. Come on, now do it for me. You do it every other time. A little delay here as Giovanni Soto went out to have a word with Randy Wells. So now he's got to adjust the gloves again because they came loose while Gio was talking to Wells. We'll go through the whole routine again. Just about ready. Almost ready. Now ready.
Three and two. Fielder on deck. Started again.
You know, and if you could play the music, da 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 da, you'll see him here. He'll give you a little chicken wing in just a moment. Here we go. Both hands on the bat. Woo! Right there.
They do play that song in Milwaukee. Yeah. Maybe that's where he got it. High fly ball. Marlon Byrd coming over. And he's going to get it. Tough inning for Randy Wells. Faces 10 batters and half of them score. Providing millions in grants to help communities around the country. The Cubs are competing with other MLB teams for a $200,000 Pepsi Refresh grant. Their idea is to support the Humboldt Park Children's Baseball Leagues, allowing hundreds of kids to play baseball at no cost to their families. Vote now at MLB.com/Pepsi Refresh or text Cubs to 76462. The team with the most votes by August 17th wins the $200,000 grant for its idea. The 0-1 to 20-year-old Starlin Castro inside 1-1. Giovanni Gallardo working with a nice cushion courtesy of Casey McGee and a 3-run homer, and Ricky Weeks, who knocked in 2 with a double. Gallardo has not given up a hit until now.
There you go.
And Castro going to try to get to second as Edmonds actually tumbled as he fielded that ball. That's a double for Starlin Castro.
Right on cue, you said Gallardo had not given up a hit. Starlin Castro flares one out into right center field, where Edmonds had all kinds of problems as he got over to that ball in good shape. Just kind of tumbled. That's all the opening Starlin Castro needed to go on to second base. Well, Jim Edmonds was pointing at it. I think he wanted Corey Hart to make the play, but ultimately had to die for it to keep it from rolling all the way to the wall.
Low and outside to Derek Lee. Gallardo with 2 strikeouts in each of the first 3 innings seems to be well on his way to what would be his 6th double-digit strikeout performance of the season. A reminder, check out our new podcast recorded over the weekend in Colorado. You can view it at WGNTV.com.
That was one of our tougher podcasts of the year. The air was so thin there, it was very tough to get through it.
But we were closer to the satellite, so it arrived early.
Now, work for the first hit of the game against Giovanni Gallardo. Let's say he hasn't given up a run yet.
Well, he has not given up a run. If only we had that much power, really. Alan Bird still not on deck, but he always is chomping at the bit to get to that plate. Lined to right, it's Corey Hart to make the grab. Castro tagging and heading to third, and he's in.
The 2010 Chicago Cubs baseball season is brought to you by Bud Light Lime, the drinkability of Bud Light with the refreshing taste of lime.
Runner at third, 1 out. Cubs trailing 5-0. They're trying to end a 5-game losing streak. Somebody's going to end a 5-game skid here tonight. And Bob, as we look ahead to the next road trip, Monday night, Cubs and Giants from San Francisco, and it's going to be Jerry Garcia tribute night. So for all the deadheads out there, we look forward to that. I think Eddie Vedder has enjoyed some Grateful Dead tunes over the years, and future Hall of Fame defenseman Chris Chelios with his Murphy's Bleachers t-shirt on.
If I read correctly, Len, that Jerry Garcia night out at San Francisco, they're going to give away 10,000 kazoos. So that should be an interesting night. It sounds like the World Cup.
Yeah, it commemorates the 15th anniversary of his passing, as they will honor the leader of the Grateful Dead. You told me about a great photo you have with the Grateful Dead. You were wearing the tie-dye Dead t-shirt, right? And they were wearing Giants uniforms.
Yeah, they sang the national anthem one time at Candlestick Park. Did a great job, by the way. There's the run.
So Ramirez knocks in Castro with a ground out for his 49th RBI. And it's 5-1. I've never met anyone in or around the Grateful Dead, but I'm sure they were pretty mellow guys, right?
Very mellow. Very mellow. Actually, they were pretty excited that day to be there singing the anthem in front of a full house at Candlestick Park. I mean, they were used to playing in front of full houses, but probably never at a ball game. And never while the sun was up.
What a long, strange trip it's been.
Yes, indeed.
John Cusack. He didn't get as good a seats as Eddie and Chris. Still pretty good, though. Are they going to have Huey Lewis night at the end of that series? They're from the Bay Area, too, right? Huey Lewis and the News. Swing and a miss to end the inning. The Cubs get on the board and trail 5-1. One and nothing the count on Prince Fielder. Rough inning for Randy Wells in the fourth, as he gave up 5 runs. At one point they had 6 consecutive hits. Big pull shift put on against Fielder, and normally the third baseman would be right there, but not against Fielder. That's a base hit.
Well, the spray charts would tell you that Prince Fielder hits the overwhelming majority of his ground balls to the right side of the infield, but every now and again he'll swing a little bit late on a fastball and guide one through that left side like he did right there.
McGee, a 3-run homer his last time up. That sinker dropped out of the strike zone. That's a called strike. Justin Berg is up again. And the Cubs bullpen. The Cubs have been down early so often lately. It makes it so difficult. You have an offense that got off to a good start out of the All-Star break, but by and large on this last trip was pretty quiet.
And for the Cubs offense, it seems to always come back to the fact that when they hit home runs, they have a chance to win ball games. When they don't hit runs, they have no chance to win a ball game.
Didn't get many deep starts on the trip. They had an 8.27 earned run average. And almost half of them came in just 3 innings on the entire trip. So the big inning has been a problem here lately. Every pitcher is going to give up runs, but the trick is to try to limit that damage. We talk about inning management all the time. And nobody can get it. Wells and DeWitt got near that bouncer, but it eluded both and into center. And back-to-back hits to start the 5th.
There's a little chopper over the head of Randy Wells. Diving effort by Blake DeWitt. Both the Cubs middle infielders, DeWitt and Castro, had shortened up a couple of steps in the hopes of turning a double play, and in that particular instance, that lack of range hurt. That ball got through into center field.
That'll be it for the starter, Randy Wells. So another short outing by a Cubs starting pitcher. 4+ for Wells. Justin Berg coming on. It's 5-1 Milwaukee. Brought to you by Subway. Hey, Chicagoland viewers, how would you like to win 5 $5 footlongs from Subway? Just be the 500th texter to text Subway to 97999. Go to WGNTV.com for complete info and rules. Rough night for Randy Wells, tying his season high, allowing 10 hits for the 4th time. And he turns it over to Justin Berg. 1st and 2nd. Nobody out, and Jim Edmonds at the plate. Ball 1. Pretty decent chance we're going to see Casey Coleman make his major league debut at some point tonight. We will see Thomas Diamond in his first major league action tomorrow night. So a transition period for this Chicago Cubs roster after the trade of Lilly and Terrio.
You expect it in the month of September when all the teams expand their roster up to a 40 if they choose to do so. But when you start seeing a lot of guys coming up from AAA at this time of year, that's not a good sign.
I don't think Casey Coleman's going to think about this if he does pitch tonight, but he may be auditioning for a start later this week because of Carlos Silva going on the DL. So the Cubs now without Lilly, who was traded, and at least for the next 2 weeks without Carlos Silva in the rotation. Meanwhile, 3-1 on a patient Jim Edmonds. Now 3-2. I know you're not supposed to say one of the most unique. It's either unique or it isn't. But I don't know any other way to say it. One of the most unique swings from the left side of the plate. Jim Edmonds. Not too many guys are high ball hitters from that side of the plate.
Not too many guys cover the entire batter's box from the back line to the front line the way Jim Edmonds does with that spread out batting stance. As we know from his time here with the Cubs, has tremendous opposite field power.
Kick and the pitch, another foul by Jim. Another 3-2 and another foul. That's a problem. Since the start of the last trip, starting pitchers averaging 4 1/3 innings. And I think it's partly why the bullpen has struggled so much. Ball 4 to load the bases.
We talk all the time about the ability of a manager and a pitching coach to use your bullpen in an orderly fashion. And by that, I mean everybody down there has a role. There are certain guys that pitch in certain situations, and some guys can pitch back-to-back days. Some guys can go 3 days in a row. Other guys need a day off after pitching in the bullpen. And when you're forced to reach down there that early in a ball game over an extended period of time, the roles get shuffled. The innings they seem to pile up on top of each other, and rather than call down there for a guy whose situation is, you call down there and you bring in the most healthy arm you can summon from the bullpen.
Base hit to left for Escobar. They'll go station to station. Fielders in. They're still loaded. Nobody out. And it's 6-1.
Well, you felt like the Cubs maybe had a little something going after finally breaking through against Giovanni Gallardo with that run in the 4th inning, but the Brewers promptly get it back here in the top of the 5th, and still nobody out.
Liners caught by DeWitt for the first out. So after the first 4 reached, Lucroy with a humpback liner that'll bring up Gallardo. Well, including tonight, the Cubs have trailed by at least 4 runs in each of their last 6 games. That's no way to get out of this slump. Low and outside to Gallardo. 1 ball, no strikes. And there's a certain point, we discussed it when talking about Andrew Kashner, that you do worry about the confidence of a lot of these young pitchers. Kashners and Bergs, Schlitters. The throw's going to go to the plate. Dropped. Low throw by Ramirez. Soto couldn't handle it. McGee is in, and it's 7-1. Now that's routine. Got to get one out. But they could not get McGee at the dish.
Very deliberate delivery to home plate. Ramirez took a couple of extra steps and still spiked the ball in the dirt to Giovanni Soto. Hey, with the pitcher Gallardo coming out of the batter's box, that's a ball you should be thinking double play. 5-2-3 double play to get out of the inning. He took a very deliberate route and then made a bad throw on top of it.
Well, that should be a fielder's choice and an error on Aramis, and that's what it is. The Cubs came in with 78 errors, tied for the third most in all of baseball. And they've allowed 64 unearned runs going into action tonight, the most in the majors. The 0-1 inside on Weeks. He is not afraid to get hit by a pitch. He's already been hit a league high 19 times. So if you go in, you're probably going to hit him. Toward the hole, it's short. Castro the flip to DeWitt. Nicely done.
Wow.
Weeks is going to get an RBI on the fielder's choice, but that's a very underrated play by Starlin Castro. That was not routine. 3 RBIs for Weeks.
That slow roller off the bat of Weeks right there. I thought the only play Castro would have had was to go to third base, but instead he fires on to Blake DeWitt for the force at second base. That's an unbelievably athletic play. We've seen him make similar throws, charging slow hit balls in the infield, getting him into and out of his glove in a hurry.
Corey Hart, an RBI hit. Here comes Escobar. 9-1. Well, I don't have to tell you, Bob. I know as a manager you had a few games like this. But what these games do is they put the coaching staff in a survival mode. All you're thinking about now, if you're Alan Trammell and Larry Rothschild, is how do you get through the rest of the game? The goal every night starts with win the game. And yesterday and again here tonight, that becomes almost secondary. That's not the way you want it to be.
Not at all.
A 5-run fourth, a 4-run fifth.
Let's take a look at our AT&T U-verse replay. One of the few highlights of this game for the Cubs. Tyler Colvin with a great running catch on the warning track in right center field to take extra bases away from Ryan Braun. Find out more of what's possible at AT&T.com. AT&T, rethink possible.
And that one could get in. Castro can't catch it. And they're going to bat around again as Weeks will score standing. It's 10-1.
Boy, this is just atrocious. I mean, that's not a bad pitch by Justin Berg. Way in on the hands of Ryan Braun. He just muscled it out there into shallow left center field. I mean, when the Cubs pitchers have made mistakes over the plate, the Brewers have hit them hard. When they've made good pitches, they've hit them softly but found holes.
So at least 10 batters again. Fielder started the inning with a single. Now with runners at first and second, Ramirez has to play somewhat close to his normal position, even though there are 3 infielders on the other side of second base. So the hole here is at shortstop.
I think he could probably go a little wider off the line if he wanted to. Very doubtful that the Brewers would try to run with Prince Fielder at the plate, 2 outs in the inning and 2 men on base. But Ramirez just moves a few steps to his left to try to plug that normal 5.5 hole between the shortstop and the third baseman.
Pop foul off to the left.
For whatever reason, it's crossing my mind.
And Casey Coleman getting ready potentially for his major league debut. Ground ball in the shallow right. Blake DeWitt will field and get the out. Back-to-back 5-run innings for the Brewers, and they lead 10-1. The Hall of Fame broadcaster, longtime radio voice of the Milwaukee Brewers, along with Corey Provis. Bob coming back recently from heart surgery, and there's no place he'd rather be than the ballpark.
No question about it. Right in the front row.
Fastball missing. Giovanni Gallardo with a 9-run cushion. 4 of the 10 runs have been unearned tonight because of that error by Aramis Ramirez in the 5th. Soriano pops it foul and out of play to the right. Casey Coleman still on the mound in the bullpen, which would lead you to believe that he is going to pitch in the 6th. Escobar gets Soriano by half a step.
Hey fans, this weekend 40 diehard Cub fans will get the ultimate game day and on-field experience with Chicago Cubs Fantasy Camp. On August 8th, participants will enjoy a Cubs game in VIP style, and then on the 9th, they'll fulfill the lifelong fantasy of playing baseball at Wrigley Field with instruction from Ernie Banks, Billy Williams, Rick Sutcliffe, and others. Space is limited, so call 773-404-4155 888-848-4748 or email WrigleyExperience@Cubs.com today.
Also, we mentioned the Pepsi Refresh Project, and Giovanni Soto has stepped up as a Cubs ambassador for youth baseball programs, and he will be at Little Cubs Field at Humboldt Park tomorrow.
Oh, and it doesn't cost you a dime to support that program, to make sure kids have an opportunity to play ball without paying any extra kind of money. All you do is go to MLB.com, go to the banner, click on it, free. You can vote as often as you want. It's a chance to do a lot of good for very little effort.
Got a chance to raise $200,000 at Pepsi Refresh Grant, and Gio will help run a kids baseball clinic along with former Cub pitcher Mike Bilecki. And that'll be tomorrow morning. Nice going, Gio. Swing and a miss. Strike three. 8 for Gallardo, at least one every inning. Blake DeWitt with 2 down and nobody on. Called strike.
You know, when you fall behind in a ball game like this, trailing by 9 runs here in the bottom of the 5th, and you'd like to see some signs of life, but unfortunately the opposing pitcher sometimes will not allow that to happen. Giovanni Gallardo is on top of his game tonight.
Yeah, he is. Speaking of reaching out to the community, Ryan Dempster raising a lot of money for his charity to help battle DeGeorge syndrome, and we both get the chance to vote for the Branch Rickey Award, which is a community service award, and Ryan Dempster is the Cubs nominee. Each team around baseball has a nominee, and we were asked to vote for 3 players for that award. Now, I don't want to disclose for whom I voted, but it starts with a R.
We know he's going to get at least 2 votes.
Yeah. You got it. 10-1 Milwaukee. Well, Casey Coleman will make his major league debut. 23-year-old right-hander, 6 feet 180 pounds. And now I'm curious, has a Casey ever made his major league debut facing Casey? It's Casey Coleman against Casey McGee. And major league history will be made with the first pitch thrown by Mr. Coleman. Mentioned his family, the first to have 3 generations of pitchers reach the big leagues. 4th family overall to feature 3 generations. The Bells, the Boones, and the Hairstons. Now the Colemans on that list. Casey and his dad Joe, the 8th father-son combo to have played for the Cubs. First father-son pitching combo to appear for this franchise, which dates back to 1876. 2-0 on McGee. And that's low. He's still trying to get comfortable out there on the mound. Sinking fastball, occasional four-seamer. He has a changeup, a curveball, and what he said, kind of a combo slider / cutter. That sounds like a starter.
Yeah.
And that's ball 4.
Maria Soto from Buffalo Grove is tonight's Hit the Jackpot with Powerball contestant. If the Cubs hit a home run in the next inning, Maria Soto will win 100 chances to win the Powerball jackpot. Wednesday's jackpot is worth $20 million.
What I meant by that, and I think Thomas Diamond would be similar. Talk to both about their repertoire. Most relievers will give you 2, maybe 3 pitches they throw. Starters 4, sometimes 5, sometimes 6. When I hear fastball, I say, 2-seam, 4-seam. Yeah, throw both.
Yeah.
Change up, curveball,
splitter, slider,
a little bit of everything. But he still has not found the strike zone. 5 straight bad ones. 1-0 on Jim Edmonds.
Despite all the weapons he has, his bread and butter pitch is that 2-seamer, that sinking fastball. Started around the mid-thighs, let it tail down around the knees or maybe a little below. He's just having trouble finding his release point out there right now.
Edmonds bounces just foul to first. Coleman, the Cubs minor league pitcher of the year last year. Attended Florida Gulf Coast University in Fort Myers, Florida. Lives in Cape Coral. That's a strike 1 and 2 on Edmonds. The line on Randy Wells, 4+, 10 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned. He walked none, struck out 5, and gave up the home run. Justin Berg gave up 3 unearned runs on 3 hits in 1 inning. Walked 1, did not strike out a batter. The Brewers with 13 hits tonight. Edmonds really leans into it. When he fouls it off, he always has that double hop on that back foot. Struck well and threw for a base hit. So the Brewers continue to press here. Man, oh man, we go back to the 4th inning. They have 13 hits over the last 2 innings plus.
And it's a ball club that wasn't exactly knocking the cover off of it before they got here to Wrigley.
Carlos Gomez is going to run for Edmonds, give him the rest of the night off. Jim got on 3 straight times to end the evening. Gomez will just stay in and play center. That's lofted out into left center for a base hit. Coming around is Casey McGee, and he will score the throw-off line from Marlon Byrd, 11-1. Brewers are fattening up their batting averages tonight. For Escobar, that's 3 hits.
That was that slider slash cutter you talked about earlier, Len. Knee high on the outside corner. Not a poor pitch, but Escobar just went out and got it. Shot it out toward that gap in left center field.
Somebody's got to eat up some innings tonight, and you would really prefer it not to be a guy making his major league debut if he can't start getting outs. And that's the other bind we talked about earlier. They're just in survival mode as a staff.
You've got a number of pitchers in that bullpen that sorely need a day off today. Other guys that could use a day off, but unfortunately, he may have to dip a little deeper into that bullpen to finish this one tonight.
Too low on Lucroy. And looking ahead to tomorrow night, Thomas Diamond making his major league debut. And certainly hope it goes well. At the very least, you hope it is a long one. Chopper to Castro. The flip. DeWitt on the turn and a double play. That goes 6-4 to 3. It was the first 6-4-3 double play since Blake DeWitt got traded to the Cubs. We saw one yesterday, but it was 6-5-3 against a shift in Colorado.
Kind of a long underhand toss that time by Starlin Castro, but with the Brewers catcher running out of the batter's box, they knew they had plenty of time. Nice quick turn by Blake DeWitt anyway.
A foul strike on Gallardo. Gomez now at third, 2 outs, a run in. Smothered by Soto. That's his first career strikeout. Casey Coleman gave up a run, but eventually got out of it. It's 11-1. seating for up to 200 guests for corporate gatherings, family reunions, and bachelor or bachelorette parties. Individual and group tickets are available for all games. For more details, go to WrigleyvilleRooftops.com or call 773-248-ROOF. Gomez stays in after pinch running for Jim Edmonds, and the left-handed hitting Casey Coleman will take the at-bat. Oh, 2 on Casey. Swing and the miss. 3 straight and 10 on the night for Gallardo.
Well, he's got it all working tonight. He's got the good fastball. He can spot on both sides of the plate, up and down. Curveball's been very good. He's mixed in some sliders. Haven't seen any straight changeups because he hasn't needed them up to this point of the game.
Looking for his first career win at Wrigley Field. My guess is he doesn't have great memories of pitching in this ballpark. You go back to the nasty knee injury he suffered here on May 1st of 2008. Trying to avoid a collision near first base. He stayed in the game. Remember that?
Yeah.
Next day it was discovered he had a torn ligament. Came back and started in late September, as they would go on to win the wild card.
I think we were all shocked that night to see him go back out to the mound and continue to pitch. I mean, it doesn't take much to look at Giovanni Gallardo and tell he's the kind of pitcher that you try to build a staff around. And normally those kind of pitchers, if they get a hangnail, you get them off the field, get them up into the training room to get some treatments right away. But he went back out and continued to pitch with a torn ligament.
During that postseason, he lost Game 1 of the division series at Philadelphia. Became the second pitcher ever to start a playoff game having won 0 during the regular season. Foul out of play.
It was funny until he tried to act funny, and then she didn't think it was funny anymore.
Do something else funny. Just saying. Another strikeout, 11 for Gallardo.
Let's check out who's moving forward with Toyota. We'll take a look at a list of the most hits by a National League player from June 27th until play tonight. You see Starlin Castro with his 41 base hits, followed closely by the Brewers second baseman Ricky Weeks. A lot of youngsters on that list. Toyota and your local Toyota dealers, official partners of the Chicago Cubs.
Swing by Castro as he fouls it back. The Cubs have one hit, a Starlin Castro hustle double in the 4th inning. He would come around and score on a ground out by Ramirez. Bad news for the Indians. Young catcher Carlos Santana left the game against Boston with apparently a serious leg injury. Collision at home plate, possibly the knee. Foul It's fair past Casey McGee. Castro has 2 doubles tonight.
Just figure out a way to get Starlin Castro to the plate a little more often here in this ball game. He's had a nice night against one of the best pitchers in the National League. This one right down the third baseline. And that's Casey McGee for an easy double.
Late swing by Lee. Good matchup at Tampa Bay, and the Rays have just ended the Twins' 8-game winning streak. 4-2 the final, as Jeremy Hellickson, in his major league debut in 7 innings, gave up 2 runs, and he beat Carl Pavano, who was 8-0 over his last 10 starts. So the Rays continue to play well. How about this, Bob? 17,689. Watch the team improve to 66-39.
Man.
Fly ball down the right field line. That's twisting out of play.
I'll tell you what, that dome in Tampa is no trip to the beach. It's not a great venue to watch baseball, but that is a great team to watch.
Yeah, I mean, the franchise has done everything from a baseball perspective that you can do over the last couple of years to get people to come out. And unlike the current situation in Miami, they're going to get a retractable roof, but at least in St. Petersburg, you know they're going to play. It's going to be about 72 degrees. It's the beginning of a tough trip for the Twins. They have 3 more at Tampa Bay. They'll play 3 in Cleveland, and then the 3 against the White Sox before they head back home. They won't play at home again until August 13th, a week from Friday. Called strike 3. Gallardo has now tied his career high with 12 strikeouts. She's not phased. summary as we also look at some of the monitors in our production truck. 11 runs on 15 hits as the Brewers have batted around twice. Starlin Castro has the only 2 hits for the Cubs, both doubles. What are you guys laughing at? Did I say something funny? Visit your Honda dealer. Test drive a 2010 Honda CR-V. Mark Brady, Skip Ellison, Doug Stanton, our entire WGN Sports On the U crew here at Wrigley Field. 1 strike on Ricky Weeks. Couple of defensive changes for the Cubs as Weeks went 0-2. According to Ed Rapiwano, Kosuke Fukudome comes in to play right. Marlon Byrd is out as Colvin moves from right to center. Big news in the Big Ten. Looks like a championship game coming up next season when Nebraska joins the league. And we'll talk to Ron Zook, the University of Illinois football coach, about that and the big game against Northwestern coming up here at Wrigley Field. Coach Zook will conduct the 7th inning stretch. Weeks hustling as DeWitt picks it up and just in time to get the out. Former Cub LaTroy Hawkins recently came off the disabled list, and he's getting loose in the bullpen with a big lead. And Maka may save his ace until the next time.
I want to send a shout out to Danny Mayberry from Metropolis, Illinois. Took the time to write us a real nice handwritten letter. Thank you so much, Danny. Appreciate it.
Two 2-0 on Corey Hart. And he deposits that one out into right center. That's the 3rd hit for Corey Hart.
We invite you to visit the official online shop of the Chicago Cubs at Cubs.com. Browse the largest selection of official gear, including the latest apparel, nostalgic memorabilia, and authentic classics for the whole family. Get your gear from the official source, the Cubs.com shop. Accept no substitutes.
Braun 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run.
We talked about it earlier. We're going to see if we can make this work. Ryan Braun's pre-swing routine. There. Oh. Got to get that music queued up just right.
Not too late.
Too late.
He has 3 hits. Well, this is a home run hitting team. They've only hit 1 home run tonight. Keep that chicken theme going. They've kind of pecked away at the Cubs. 17 hits.
I'm sure their hitting coach, Dale Swaim, has no problem with the home runs, but I think most hitting coaches like to see this kind of attack. Get everybody involved in the offense, spray them all around the field. Get some guys involved in the game, get them on the bases, get them on the plate.
6 guys have at least 2 hits. 3 have 3 hits. Wow. Popped up by fielder back of the plate, but no room for Soto. Coleman gave up a run in his first inning of work. Got an at bat, struck out in the bottom of the 6th, and now dealing with 2 on, 1 out in the 7th. There's Dale Swaim, former Brewer interim manager. He's been a player, coach, and a manager with the Milwaukee Brewers. Ground ball, base hit. Corey Hart will trot around and easily score. It's 12-1. Fielder has 3 hits.
Let's take a look at our BMW drive of the ball game. Casey McGee back in that 4th inning with a towering home run to straightaway center field. Only BMW offers ultimate service. Buy a BMW now and pay 0 maintenance costs for 4 years or 50,000 miles, whichever comes first.
2 hits, including a homer, a walk, 3 knocked in, and he scored 3 times. Fly ball deep to right. Kosuke back on this one, and he gets it on the warning track. Braun will tag and score on a long sac fly by McGee. It's 13-1. Nice catch by Fukudome.
It was more of a line drive variety fly ball to right. Fukudome just into the ball game, gets tested right away, but got back to the spot right at the front of the warning track. Makes a nice running catch.
Bob, this is the 9th time this season the Brewers have scored at least 11 runs. It's the 6th time they've scored at least 12, and the 4th time they've scored at least 13. And that hit him. Gomez got nicked by that pitch.
Well, without looking, I'd venture to guess this is the first time they've scored this many runs with only 1 home run, though. They're a team that's really built around their ability to hit the long ball and get them back into some ball games or extend their lead in others.
You are correct. At least 2 home runs every other time they've played it, at least 12. They put up some huge hit totals. They had 25 hits, 20 runs at Pittsburgh on April 22nd, 17 runs on 17 hits 2 different times, 12 runs on 19 hits at St. Louis on July 3rd, and tonight 13 on 18. But having said that, they've been shut out 10 times. How is that possible? Well, that's baseball.
Yeah.
And if you just looked at the Brewers tonight, you'd say, how could they be shut out 10 times? Two and 0. That's a strike on a sinking fastball at 88 miles an hour. 2 and 1. Brian Schlitter, a right-hander, up for the Cubs. Ball 4 to load him up, and depending on how it goes here, we might see Carlos Marmol tonight, Bob, just because. And again, that's another thing you'd rather not do. We saw him last night or yesterday trailing in Denver. I think Alan Trammell would like to stay away from James Russell, who went almost 3 innings. Carlos Zambrano basically unavailable after 2 in a row. Andrew Kashner probably getting the night off. So Marshall and Marmol, the top 2 guys in the pen, one if not both might have to be used tonight. Lucroy with a bouncer to Derek Lee. Coleman over to cover the bag, and the inning is over. Time for the stretch with Coach Zook.
For taking me out to the ball game is University of Illinois head football coach Ron Zook.
All right, all you Cubby fans, you need a little help. 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to shame. It's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Come on, Cubbies, we need some run.
Tonight in the first of a 3-game series, 13-1, and former Cub LaTroy Hawkins will pitch in relief of Giovanni Gallardo. LaTroy was on the 60-day disabled list and was reinstated on Thursday. Had right shoulder weakness, and he is now back in action. Great to have in the booth University of Illinois football coach Ron Zook. Coach, nice to have you back at Wrigley Field.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
And big news. There's been a lot of big news involving the Big Ten. We'll talk about the Illinois Northwestern game coming up here at Wrigley Field in November, but making headlines today, it looks like a title game in the offing.
You know, I'm sure that it's going to be. I think they added the extra team in Nebraska. You get 12 games. They can split it up even, and I really think that there's going to be a championship game, and you know, who knows? We could keep it right here in Chicago.
That'd be fine with us.
Have it right here.
Yeah. 1-0 on pinch hitter Mike Fontenot batting for Ramirez. And that's outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Your thoughts on the addition of the Nebraska program?
Well, there's no question it's going to make the conference that much better. Obviously, Nebraska coming in as a great program, a very storied program with a lot of, you know, tradition, and it just it makes you know, anytime you got a team like that coming in, it makes everybody you know, got to raise their game up.
Well, there've been some interesting commentary. Is it really the Big Ten now that there are going to be 12 teams? But it's such an iconic name. Big Ten. I think people understand. I mean, it's the Big Ten. And
I would be shocked if unless they go maybe a few more teams, but I would be shocked if that name changes, because you're right. It's a conference that's been around for many years, and I don't foresee it that name going anywhere.
3-1 on Mike Fontenot. Fukudome on deck. He just came in to play right. Let's see some wholesale changes here late in this game. Called strike 2. It's full on Fontenot.
You know, Coach, we were talking about this ball game and how it happens in all sports. Occasionally you're going to go out there and get your tail handed to you by the other team, and unfortunately in baseball, because the rosters are so small, it's not like you can bring out the second team and the third team and evaluate some of your young players. You just try to get through it in baseball, but I would imagine in your sport that gives you an opportunity maybe to check out some of the young guys.
Well, it does, unless you're redshirting guys and things like that. But we, even though we got 85 on the roster, there's still, you still have numbers issues. But it happens in all sports and probably all walks of life. But when that thing starts going south, it's hard to get it turned, and it's a mental thing. Baseball is a mental game. All sports are, the mental part of it, and you see it in every sport.
Well, the good thing about baseball is we get to come back tomorrow and do it all over again. But football, you got to stew over it for a week.
And that is the one thing. It's a week that you have to think about it, and then you have to kind of get back to the drawing board and make the changes that you have to make, and work on the psyche of your team. As you're saying, baseball, the next night it can come back, but when you get into a downward spiral, that's just it's just hard to stop it.
Another 3-2, and this time he got him. It's the 13th strikeout for Brewers pitching as Gallardo tied a career high with 12, one away in the inning. Coach, how have you enjoyed your time in Champaign?
Well, I love it. It's a great place to live. It's a great university. It's a great, we haven't won as many games as we need to win, but I'm excited about this year. We got a bunch of new faces. We got new coaches. Got a new quarterback in Nathan Shieldhouse that's going to be playing, and I'm looking forward to getting started and we'll see what we got. I think that anytime you play in the Big Ten Conference, anything can happen on any given Saturday, and it's a great conference. And it's once again it's the start of the year.
Fukudome batting for the first time, and he takes a knee-high strike. We understand Ohio State's kind of the favorite, but do coaches look at the preseason polls and prognostications and things like that? Does it matter to you? Do you use it as bulletin board material?
Not really. I mean, I think number one, every team is going to be ready to play every game, and I heard Coach Trussell make the comment that that they know they got a bullseye on them, but that's what that's what everybody's shooting for. So, but as a coach, you can't get caught up in that. That's why they play the games. That's why they keep score, and you do the best you can and get them ready to go.
1-1 to Kosuke. Cubs with only 2 hits. That one struck well, but right at Corey Hart for the out. So Illinois at Northwestern here at Wrigley Field. I know Coach Fitzgerald's looking forward to it. We talked with him earlier this season, and it's going to be fun for both teams.
Well, I think it is. It's a great, it's an honor. It really is to have an opportunity, and our players are looking at it. I'm sure Pats are the same way. I mean, it's great for both programs. It's great for both universities. It's right here in Chicago. If you look at the history of the football games that have been played here, it's it just makes sense to be able to play here.
First college football game in the friendly confines since 1938, when DePaul hosted games here at the ballpark. Northwestern will technically be the home team, but I have a feeling there will be a lot of fans in orange.
Well, I hope so. And the one thing about the home team and being in their game is they'll get a lot more tickets. But as I said, I think it's going to be a neat thing. And I found out just up until a couple of years ago, there have been more National League football games played in this stadium than any other stadium in the country.
Deep to right. Hart taking a look back. It's going to be over his head right at the base of the wall. And the Cubs with 3 hits tonight. They're all doubles. This time it's Soriano. So being the road team, my guess is you'll get the visitors' locker room, which is not very big. Have you been in it?
I have not. I've been in the Cubs locker room, but our people came up and looked at it, and that's what they reported. But you know what? It's to have the opportunity to play in a place like this. Who cares? I mean, there's some locker rooms out there that we go to that aren't the best either. But I think, as I said, the opportunity to play in a stadium like this, the mystique here, and it's an exciting thing.
It's old school.
Yeah, Coach, you might want to tell your players to dress on the bus.
Well, we may have to dress. We may have to dress in shifts, but that's okay.
Runner at second, 2 out. Giovanni Soto Takes it high, ball one. Give us a training camp schedule. When do things really get moving?
We start Wednesday night, and Thursday's the first practice, so it's here for us. We're Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Champaign, then we'll go to Rantoul on Sunday for 2 weeks, and hopefully come back and have a pretty good beat on what type of team we're going to have.
Do you get any sort of butterflies as a coach getting ready for the first practice? Because I know for you that is, in a lot of ways, as important as the first game, because that sets the tone.
Well, it really is. I don't get butterflies. It's more excitement than anything, anticipation. As I said, it's an exciting year because there is so many things that are new, and there are so many things that are new, and it's just exciting to be able to get going. And we can't get started soon enough for me.
That's a called strike. It's 1-2. They have refurbished the press box here at Wrigley Field, and some great photos right behind our booth. And there's a great shot of the Bears playing here at Wrigley Field way back when.
Well, the thing that'll be interesting in the press, is because of the field, the way the field's going to go is, what the coaches will be able to see and so forth that are in the box.
Just missed 2-2, and if you're a ski jumper, maybe you could ask the Cubs if they'd like to host you doing this at Wrigley Field.
I'm a
ski
skier.
Right out of the booth here, Coach.
I'm a skier, but not a ski jumper. That looks scary right there now. That's scary.
Hawkins very deliberate. Big leg kick, the 2-2 pop foul off to the right, out of play.
See, that was actually a play-by-play guy. After the last time an opponent had 2 bat-around innings against the Cubs, he just said, "I've had enough."
It took off, huh? Shoot, I tell you what, it's. I know it's hard for you guys, but I promise you, it's hard for them too, as you well know.
Sure.
What a great shot. Runner at second, 2 outs, 2-2 count on Giovanni Soto. Another foul. This battle continues.
Coach, other than your eyes in the sky up here in the press box watching the game at an odd angle, any other challenges that you anticipate here at Wrigley Field?
No, because it's going to be a 100-yard field. I mean, the corner of the end zone here at home plate going to be a little tight, but put some pads up, and obviously neither school would have done it if it didn't think that it's going to be safe. And I just think it's such a neat thing it's something that the players are going to remember forever. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be jacked up and excited to be here.
Called strike 3 to end the inning. November 20th, Illinois and Northwestern. Coach Zook, best of luck on a great season with the Illini.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot. Good luck to you. Thank you.
BrewersTV.com right now and click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and information while you're watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape, pools, patios, play sets, hot tubs, and more.
Fontenot, after pinch hitting, stays in to play third. Jeff Baker replaces Derek Lee at first. And Craig Counsell's going to hit for Hawkins. Right-hander Casey Coleman still working. Counsell slumping lately. 4 for his last 44. Two and one on Craig Counsell. Trevor Hoffman, not the Brewers closer. He's 4 saves away from 600. John Axford is their current 9th inning man. That's low. He's run it full. Thomas Diamond just taking it all in. He is on the active roster, so I guess technically available tonight, but he's going to start tomorrow night in what will be his major league debut, and it's an interesting story. He's battled some injuries as Castro with the jump toss to first late. Counsell with an infield hit. Thomas Diamond coming back from injury. And Bob, at one time he pitched for Coach Randy Bush at New Orleans, collegiately. And Randy was a head baseball coach there. So Thomas Diamond has come full circle, or full diamond, however you want to put it. And he's in the big leagues.
Thomas Diamond just kind of soaking it all in here tonight. I'm sure he's got a close eye on these Brewers hitters, trying to figure out how he's going to attack them tomorrow night, and has to be just a tad intimidating.
19 hits for the Brewers. We've got the Bears and the Blackhawks combined. And Tyler Colvin in the area. East Jersey. See if they can turn it. Glove to glove and save. Ooh, Ed Rapuano was ready to pull the trigger, but he decided that Weeks had beaten it out.
I don't think they had any chance whatsoever to turn this double play. Number one, a slowly hit ball. Ricky Weeks hustling down that first baseline, but the glove to glove flip and the strong relay throw made it a close play at first.
And Rapuano got it right. One 1-0 on Corey Hart. He's had a big night, celebrating a 3-year contract. Hart actually started in the All-Star game for the National League in right field. He was an injury replacement for Jason Hayward. He wasn't even on the fan ballot. He did not start for the Brewers on opening day, was replaced on the ballot by Jim Edmonds, but he has had an incredible bounce back season. During spring training, Corey Hart realized his everyday spot was far from guaranteed after a very disappointing 09. Well, there were some stretches, and we saw some of those stretches over the last year and a half when teams just pounded him with sliders, and he kept swinging and missing.
Like Alfonso Soriano, when he gets into one of those bad stretches where he doesn't immediately recognize the pitch. Well, Corey Hart was caught in one of those most of the year last year, but to his credit, as you said, he came into spring training, his starting position was threatened, and he has bounced back to have a huge year.
Well, the results haven't been very good for Casey Coleman, but Bob, I think this stint here tonight, just get the first one out of the way, and next time he pitches at this level, it won't be a brand new thing for him. And he is helping the team by giving them innings. As we say, you always want quality, but there are times when you need quantity more so, and that's been the case tonight. 4 hits for Corey Hart.
Tuesday, August 17th is Polish Heritage Night at Wrigley Field, presented by Pepsi. Watch the Cubs battle the Padres at 7:05, and don't miss the special discounts and Polish-themed activities before and during the game. Fans attending the game can also get commemorative Cubs cap with a $5 donation to Chicago Cubs charities, which will help support Chicago's Polish community. For more information, visit Cubs.com.
Ball 1 to Ryan Braun. So finals now, Rich 4, Pirates nothing. In Pittsburgh, Travis Wood over Ross Ollendorf. Well, let's see if we can make this work here. That's a strike.
Oh, brother, we're easy to entertain.
Fouled back.
Unfortunately, Ryan Braun has had the last laugh tonight. 3 base hits in the game. He scored a couple of runs, drove in a run. And he was ice cold coming into this series. Is that the state song of Wisconsin?
It might be. That and roll out the barrel. Another foul. Cincinnati winning tonight, and Houston getting 3 in the 8th, leading at St. Louis 5-4. The Astros trying to win their 6th in a row. If they do pull that off, they will probably jump ahead of the Cubs and into 4th. Braves 4, Mets 1. That's a final. In Atlanta, Braves get their 60th win. Tim Hudson beat Johan Santana. Billy Wagner got his 25th save. Chipper Jones hit his 8th homer. Coming in is Fukudome, and he won't get there in time. Throw to second. Late. Good play by Castro. And a diving stop on that bounce throw. It gets by him. Ricky Weeks scores easily.
The runners had to hold up momentarily. It looked like Fukudome might have a shoestring play, but he chooses to lay back, play it on a hop, and try to get the force at second, and that definitely saved a run right there. Starlin Castro was stretching out like a first baseman. Had to lean way to the outfield side of the bag to keep that ball from rolling over into foul territory.
A 21-hit barrage for the Milwaukee Brewers. Ten off the starter, Randy Wells. 3 off Justin Berg, and now 8 against Casey Coleman. Here comes Alan Trammell, and he's going to make a change. It'll be Brian Schlitter, and it looks like a double switch here. Giovanni Soto made the last out of the 7th, so Coy Hill will come in. A new battery for the Cubs. Coleman, in his major league debut, got knocked around, but did give the Cubs 2 1/3 innings. Bases loaded here in the 8th. It's 13-1 Brewers. Is in, bases loaded, 1 out, and he has to face Prince Fielder, who has 3 hits on the night, all singles. Coy Hill, the new catcher, will hit 9th. Milwaukee scoring 5 in the 4th, 5 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, and threatening in the 8th. Ryan acquired from the Phillies in 08 from nearby Park Ridge, attended Maine South High School. Here's his 1-1 pitch. Drilled out into right center. It gets down, gets all the way to the wall. Weeks, Hart, Braun, all in. A 3-run double for Fielder. He has a 4-hit night. $16-1.
Now we've seen Prince Fielder hit a lot of balls harder than this one, but it's very well placed. Fukudome took a very shallow line. He initially thought he could make a play on that ball, And unfortunately, Tyler Colvin also thought he had a play on the ball. Both went toward the baseball. Neither one backed up the play and rolled all the way to the vines to clear the bases.
Second time in 4 days the Cubs had trailed by 15 runs. Everybody in that Cubs dugout is extremely competitive. It's why they're in the major leagues, whether it's a player, a coach, Alan Trammell, the acting manager. How hard is it to not get really down? I mean, it's one thing to get angry, but at some point, I mean, over the last week, this team has been blown out a lot, and it's just something we had not seen really all year to this point.
Well, I mean, you think to yourself in that dugout that, well, this has got to be rock bottom. And then it happens again, and then it happens again. And, you know, at some point, I'm sure there's a great amount of frustration in that dugout right now. They may not be showing it outwardly, but nobody likes taking a butt whipping like this. I mean, once a month is plenty to go through something like this, but to have it happen as often as it has recently for the Cubs, just extremely frustrating.
Well, and part of the issue, we've seen a lot of rookie relievers in spots in which there hasn't been much of a safety net, and things have really blown up on this bullpen. 1-0 on Gomez. One of the veterans back on this roster. Carlos Zambrano, back-to-back outings. Again, more quantity than quality yesterday. Threw a lot of pitches to get through 2 innings. Oh, it hit him in the helmet. Gomez hit by another pitch. Both base coaches, Roger Kaplinger, their head athletic trainer, and Ken Maka racing to Carlos Gomez at home plate. That is scary. Well, that was right at his face. Thankfully, he turned away. It appeared as though he got hit on the ear flap, but there's only so much protection a helmet can give you on a pitch like that. Wow. Well, Ken Maka recently publicly was pretty upset that his players were getting drilled, in particular Prince Fielder, and Fielder chatting with the home plate umpire, Lance Barksdale, and you wonder if he was saying something about, hey, we've had now 3 of our guys hit tonight. So that'll be it for Gomez. They'll have to find a pinch runner and somebody to play center over the final 2 innings on defense.
It was good to see Gomez. It appeared that he was responding to the questions of the trainer, Roger Kaplinger, and walked off the field under his own power. You just hope he's okay.
Larry Rothschild went out to the mound. I think Schlitter's a little broken up as well. If there's any question, he was not trying to throw that high and that in. Dave Bush, a starting pitcher, is going to run. Ball 1 on Escobar.
Well, obviously, it doesn't feel good to get hit by a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, but Yeah, I've been hitting the helmet a few times, and what the lasting impression I had is the noise.
And that's a loud sound, yep. So it felt like he got hit by a bus. Well, hopefully Gomez is okay. It's 16-1 Brewers. Ken Maka, who's out talking with a home plate umpire. Lance Barksdale. Seems like a rather long conversation. Moving his shortstop Escobar to center. And Craig Counsell is going to play short. Escobar has made just now his third career appearance in the outfield. All-time saves leader Trevor Hoffman, who lost his closer job earlier this season, been a lot better in the second half than he was in the first half. Over his last 15 appearances, he has a 1.69 ERA.
I assume that there have been warnings issued to both benches. I think that's why Ken Maka was talking to Lance Barksdale, the home plate umpire, as long as he did. And then Barksdale went out to the mound to talk to Hoffman before this inning got started. It looked like he said that there had been warnings. Just wanted to make sure that the new pitcher, Trevor Hoffman, was aware of that.
And should we surmise that Ken Maka's point is, why are we getting warned?
I'm assuming that's what
the warnings are never
yeah.
issued to one dugout and not the other.
No. But the one thing a warning will teach you is you want to be proactive if you feel like there's some retaliation necessary. And now that this has happened today in the lopsided blowout ball game, I would imagine there'll be warnings issued before the game even starts tomorrow.
DeWitt grounds out. And here's Coy Hill for the first time. He came in to catch in the top of this inning. Interesting to see if Trevor Hoffman does get a shot at 600 saves. Just 4 away. And he received a cortisone shot in his right elbow during the break. Says he feels a lot better. And again, the numbers would back him up. Called strike. Fastball at 85 miles an hour. Fly ball, shallow center. Escobar coming on. This is Hoffman's 7th appearance of the second half, and to this point he has allowed 3 hits and no runs over 6 2/3 innings without a walk. Colvin trying to salvage his night, 0 for 3 and all strikeouts.
Trevor Hoffman with a little more fastball at this point than we saw from him earlier this season. Back then his fastball was topping out at 83, 84 miles an hour. And of course his best pitch, his bread and butter pitch, that straight changeup. You need to have the proper split between those 2 pitches to be effective. And he just didn't have enough fastball earlier this year.
Here comes a 2-0, and that's laced into the right field corner. Colvin on his way to second. The 4th Cub hit, and they've all been doubles.
4 doubles sounds pretty good right about now.
I know what you mean.
Rather Colvin gets fastball out over the plate. Took his head right down the barrel of the bat that time. Looked like his head was flying just a little bit in his previous at bats in this ball game, but that time really stayed focused. Watched that ball all the way to contact.
Well, Jeremy Hellickson, Bob, won his major league debut, as I mentioned, with Tampa Bay, and he got optioned. But I guess that was the plan all along. And you shouldn't laugh because you did it to Brandon Webb,
yeah,
didn't you?
I'm not laughing at all. We did the same thing to Brandon Webb. Called him up from AAA, had him start the first game of a doubleheader, and then sent him right back down after the game so we could activate Randy Johnson for game 2.
Escobar with the diving catch. He's a shortstop by trade, just a small amount of experience in the outfield. That was a really nice catch. Very athletic play by Alcides Escobar to end the 8th. Time now for the Budweiser plays of the game. Giovanni Gallardo was really on his game tonight, and it was apparent in the first inning.
Yeah, he didn't really need the run support that he's gotten from his offense tonight, but he had all three of his best pitches working tonight. The good fastball, the curve, the slider, total command.
Tying his career high with 12 strikeouts, Budweiser with full flavor and a crisp finish. It's what we do. One strike on the catcher, Lucroy. 1 for 5.
He's the only offensive player for the Brewers that has not scored at least 2 runs in this game. We've been able to keep him off the plate.
What does get lost in the shuffle with the Brewers scoring 16 on 22 hits is that they pitched a very good game. Just 4 hits allowed. So I'm sure Lucroy feels good about that as a catcher. Sure you were a part of a few of these as Lucroy strikes out, and as a catcher who's 1 for 6, you just say, you know what, I've caught a gem, and the team leads by 15.
That's one of the ways you can salve your own ego after a ball game. Say, well, I must have called a good game and caught a good game because my pitching staff really did a nice job tonight. And that's when you usually hear catchers say, that's my primary job, is to work my pitchers through the game.
Nothing in 1. Craig Counsell. That's in the dirt. Struck well, and Castro with a dive but couldn't get to it. So Craig Counsell off the bench here late is 2 for 2.
Make it stop.
Joe Inglet. That's for Ricky Weeks.
.95 at bats on the season for Joe Inglet. 44 of those as a pinch hitter. Far and away the most used pinch hitter off of Ken Maka's bench. He's 13 for 44 as a pinch hitter. Overall in the season, a .263 average.
Most pinch hits in the majors, and he's 4 for 7 against the Cubs this season. John Axford is going to get the bottom of the 9th, it appears. The closer don't even have to add it up. This will not be a safe spot. The liner is over the leaping Blake DeWitt. Well, they have bunched their hits together. It seems like when they get one, they get 3 or 4 in a row. Brad Penny says he feels like he will pitch again this season. Been out since late May with an upper back problem. Cardinals have been without Kyle Loesch and Brad Penny. They went out and got Jake Westbrook. Six innings, 4 hits, 2 runs for Westbrook in his Cardinal debut, so he was really good, but the bullpen gave it up big time. 9-4 Astros in the bottom of the 9th. Washington leading at Arizona 3-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Adam Dunn with his 26th. Pudge Rodriguez has hit number 2 behind Livan Hernandez. Two and two. Big series for the Dodgers against the first place Padres. The Dodgers are 8 back in the West and 6.5 out of the wild card. No score early. Schlitter will throw to second and get one. Another hard hit ball. Two down.
And just self-defense on the part of Brian Schlitter out there on the mound. A bullet that came right back at him. Got his glove on it. Unfortunately, the ball dropped to the ground. Looked to third, decided to go to second base, get the force there. That's the only play the Cubs had.
As you mentioned, Bob, only one home run tonight, but I think we've seen more hard hit balls tonight than maybe all year. Ground balls, line drives.
It's been that kind of season for the Brewers. Feast or famine. When they're swinging it well, they swing it as well as any team in baseball. When they're not swinging it well, they really struggle to score runs. And tonight, needless to say, they've been hacking.
Yankees lost at home to the Blue Jays 8-6, so Tampa Bay has jumped into a tie atop the East. Brandon Morrow over A.J. Burnett. A-Rod went 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts. He might be pressing in his bid for number 600.
A little bit of different look to that Padres lineup tonight, Len, with Miguel Tejada playing shortstop and batting second, and the recently acquired Ryan Ludwig hitting fourth behind Adrian Gonzalez. I'm sure the Padres are hoping that Ludwig can get into one of his hot streaks and give Gonzalez the kind of protection he has not had and still has put up monster numbers.
Ryan Theriot batting 8th and playing second again tonight for the Dodgers. He hit near the top of the order last night. Fukudome lays out and able to just knock it down as they add another run. Counsell in. 17-1. Ryan Braun has 5 knocks, and they've all been singles.
At least 3 of them have come to right field, which is kind of out of character for him. Normally he's a guy that wants to pull the ball, but tonight has been spraying it all over the field.
The other problem, Bob, is you give Corey Hart, Ryan Braun, and Prince Fielder 21 combined at bats. Ooh. You're asking for a lot of trouble. Another base hit. Hart is in. It's 18-1. The 3 guys I mentioned have combined for 14 hits. Hart, Braun, and Fielder. The Cubs have now tied a franchise record, having allowed 26 hits. The other time was in 1957. Milwaukee has scored in every inning since the 4th. And it's 18-1. Normally the hit placard out there is yellow, but they don't have one for 26, so it's white. Castro will flip, and he didn't flip it in the right place. Unfortunately, DeWitt, well, I hope he's all right. That had bad injury all over it as Prince Fielder came lumbering into second base. And fortunately, Blake DeWitt got out of harm's way at the last possible second. And the bases are loaded.
A mistaken judgment on the part of Castro right there. His momentum is carrying him across the diamond toward first base. DeWitt actually had his back turned to Castro as he fielded that ball. Now the play there is to just throw across to first base and get the heck out of this inning.
And Trevor Hoffman will take the at bat. I think it's still going to be Axford to pitch in the bottom of the 9th. But Ken Maka only has George Kataris, his backup catcher, left off the bench. A 1-1 on the way. Swing and a miss. Been hanging in there. See how many times Trevor has come up in his career. He has 35 career plate appearances. That's more than I thought. 2 doubles, 5 RBIs, 4 out of 33 lifetime. And he strikes out. So they leave the bases loaded, but they get a couple more, and we're going to go to the bottom of the 9th. 18-1 Milwaukee. $18 runs on 26 hits for Milwaukee, and the Cubs have mustered just 4 hits, all doubles. They've also committed a couple of errors. And closer John Axford just getting an inning of work.
Tail end through 3 innings. This was a pitcher's duel.
It was. You're right.
Corey Hart with a first inning double. That was it for the first 3 innings for the Brewers offense. And the Cubs, of course, were shut down by Giovanni Gallardo, but then the floodgates opened up.
England will remain in and play second. Well, the Cubs on their way toward their 6th consecutive loss. They have been outscored, including tonight during the losing streak, 63-17. Outside ball one, fastball at 94 to Jeff Baker. And they will turn to rookie Thomas Diamond, making his major league debut tomorrow night. He will be opposed by left-hander Chris Narveson. Ryan Dempster will get the ball Wednesday against Manny Parra. Paid crowd tonight, 37,731. It has thinned considerably with the score being what it is. And fans haven't had much to cheer about as Corey Hart will put it in his pocket. Chris Chelios is hanging in there. Chris has officially retired or not. He's 47 years old. I think he ought to go for 50.
Why not? He could be the Jamie Moyer of hockey.
If in fact he does not play another game in the NHL, I can say I was at his final game. We were in Atlanta. It was the day after the Cubs season opener, the Thrashers and the New Jersey Devils, and that was the final game for Chris Chelios with Atlanta. One and one on Fontenot. Has to be a little awkward for young John Axford, considering he took over the reins from the all-time saves leader. But just reading some comments from Trevor Hoffman. Hoffman's been very classy about it, and I'm sure has talked a lot about situations and pitch selection and the like, and just the mental aspects of closing with John Axford. And you'd hope John Axford's taken full advantage of being around Trevor Hoffman all year.
Well, at this stage, really the mental part of closing is all they have in common, because John Axford throws extremely hard, has a fastball in the mid to upper 90s. Trevor Hoffman, a guy that's had a long and illustrious career featuring the straight changeup.
Axford not that young, actually, 27 years old. Hard time putting away Mike Fontenot. Hasn't been an easy road for Axford. Signed with the Yankees as an undrafted free agent in '06. Before that, he pitched in the Western Baseball League.
The old WBL.
Yeah. Attended Notre Dame and Canisius College. Fontenot gets a hold of one, but not enough, as Escobar catches out number 2.
As you might expect, Escobar, a natural shortstop that has played some outfield. He looks very natural out in center field. Got a great jump on that ball, ran to the spot. It reminds me of another Brewer that moved from shortstop to center field.
Yeah, Robin Yount, you're right. And Robin was an MVP at both positions.
Yep. Yeah, he was such a good ball player. I don't think it mattered where you put him on the field. He was going to be one of the best players. Come on, we need a couple base runners.
Outside, 2-0 on Fukudome. Here's a pitch. Fly ball to center. This will do it. Escobar catches, and mercifully this comes to an end. 18-1 as the Brewers get 26 hits tonight in winning the opener. We'll be back in a moment.